everyone, my name is Lizzie and welcome to my barn. Today I'm going to talk about how horses communicate through body language. And as you can see, I have quite a few interested audience members in the background. They probably have a lot to say. Imagine standing next to a 1,200-pound animal who doesn't know how to speak one word, but they're always talking to you. What can you hear? Can you see anything? Horses are always communicating with us. And if we pay close attention, we will be able to understand them. As someone who's been riding and caring for horses for most of my adult life, I have come to learn what horses say using their bodies. They talk to us all the time. They don't just talk to other horses, they communicate with us. Horses have a great way of using their bodies to explain exactly what they need. When you begin to understand them, you can begin to build trust, stay safer, and create long-lasting relationships with these amazing animals. And even if you're not around horses very often, learning how horses use their body language to communicate can help you understand how other animals learn to communicate through body language. Even people. At the heart of it, body language is a universal one. First off, horses do make noises. They whinny and they neigh, and sometimes even squeal when they're really excited. But they mainly rely on body language to express what they're going through. Why is that? Horses are prey animals. Horses have eyes on the sides of their head, which gives them a 360-degree field of vision. They can tell if a predator is approaching from almost any angle. Here's a fun fact. Look at your face. Where are your eyes located? Our eyes are located in the front of our heads. What about a horse's? Horses' eyes are located on the sides of their heads. This gives them an advantage so they can see where their predators are coming. They need to stay safe. They are fight or flight animals. So if something's approaching, they could get spooked and run off. Horse trainer Julie Goodnight expresses in her book, horses communicate with their entire bodies from head to tail. They make communicative gestures and display body language that reveals their emotions. I have a little story to share. I have a pony named Romeo. He's 28 years old and he's been with our family for very many years. One day, he wasn't under our care, and he was staying at a barn not far away from here. My daughter Madison and I decided to go and visit him. We pulled up, and the barn was really beautiful. It was kept immaculate, and we found Romeo in his stall munching hay. He looked really good, like he was really well cared for. But when we walked into his stall, he started clicking and clacking his teeth at us. My daughter and I looked at each other. We couldn't understand why he could be doing that. We never saw him do anything like that behavior in the past. We never saw any horse ever do that in the past. So when we left, I was really confused and concerned. So I started to do a little research, and I called a bunch of people I know in the business who know a lot about horse behavior. The general consensus with everyone was that Romeo was stressed out and anxious. It was like he was trying to tell us, "Hey Mom, please get me out of here." So I did just that. I brought him home, and after just a couple of days, that behavior stopped. I felt really bad, but that's just one of the things that my horse was showing me through behavior, that he was stressed and anxious. So let's dive into some horse behavior. We'll stop at the top of the head, the ears. The ears are the most expressive parts of a horse's body. They flick their ears, they turn their ears frontwards and backwards to listen to what's going on in front of them and behind them. When the ears are pricked forward, that usually means they're alert and they're paying attention to what's happening around them. If their ears are pinned backwards, it could mean that they're upset or angry or even aggressive. So be careful around a horse whose ears are pinned straight back. I wouldn't want to see you get bit. A really cool feature about a horse's ears is that they flick from front to back. They can hear what's going on in front and behind them at the same time. I think that's pretty cool. I read an article on animalwise.com. It states, the ears are one of the most important ways in which a horse can communicate, signaling everything from focus and interest to irritation or even aggression. Let's move a little lower than the ears, and we'll start with the eyes. If you can see the whites of your horse's eyes, it usually means that they're scared or surprised. But if you can't see them and they look really relaxed, they're probably calm and relaxed. Here's a fun fact. A horse has the biggest eyes out of any land mammal that is on this earth. Next, we have the horse's nose. It's really long, but if their nostrils are flaring, it could signal that they're afraid or stressed out. Maybe they're scared of something that they can see out in the field. They usually flare their nostrils when they're scared. Their lips, if they're hanging and loose, that means they're relaxed in general. If their lower jaw seems clenched or their mouth seems tight, it could mean that they're stressed, they're under some kind of tension, or even in pain. You'd be amazed on how much emotion is expressed just by looking at a horse's face. So let's move to the back of the horse, the tail. It's not just a fly swatter. The tail has a story to tell all on its own. If a tail is swishing quite rapidly, or even in a circular motion, it could mean that they're annoyed or irritated, or it could be that they're just trying to swat away a few pesky flies or bugs. If the tail is tucked down low, it could mean that they're afraid or being submissive. Sometimes a horse will tuck its tail if they're frightened of another human or another horse. If the tail is sticking straight up to the sky, it usually means they're excited about something. A lot of times, young and playful horses will have their tails sticking straight up to let everyone know, hey everyone, let's play. So let's look at the horse as a whole. The horse's head is massive. If it's sticking straight up and looking around, it's usually alert or on high alert. Usually a horse will have their head held high if they're looking out into the distance of a possible danger. If a horse's head is hanging low and they're gradually grazing on some hay or grass, they're probably in a very calm and relaxed state. If you take a look at their legs, sometimes they'll stomp, stomp, stomp. It could mean that there's flies attacking their legs and they want them off. If they're pawing with their legs, it could mean that, hey, pay attention to me. I need your attention right now. Or could I have a carrot, please? If a horse is angry, it could strike out at you with a front leg or a back leg. If you see this type of behavior, please keep a safe distance. You would not want to get kicked by a horse. Horses are very large and powerful animals. And take it from me, getting kicked is no fun. It hurts a lot. When I read a very popular peer-reviewed veterinary scientific journal online, it stated that language is crucial for successful communication, and even small human gestures can influence how a horse responds. I always give my horse a stroke on the neck or a scratch on the ear, and I also tell them, in my words, good boy. That really goes a long way. When a horse begins to trust you and they know that you get them, you can get a much more relaxed and responsive horse to work with. Finally, when you understand what a horse is trying to communicate with you through body language, it enhances empathy. We all want a nice working relationship, a trusting relationship, and a safe relationship with our horses. Horses are speaking to us all the time, with their ears, their nose, their eyes, and their entire bodies. So the next time you pass a horse, pay attention. They might be saying something to you without ever speaking a word. Hi, Judy, hi. Hi, Delfino.